Welcome to 100 Yards Football this morning. It's the 2021 Cincinnati Bengals team preview. I'm your host, Vincent Turner. So if you like the video this morning, please come in and share it, and we surely appreciate it here at 100 Yards Football. If you like the video, please come in and share it. Let's talk about the 2021 Cincinnati Bengals. Very good football team that's made some progress over the last season. Went from 2 wins to 4 wins. But the question is, what's going to happen this year? And is Joe Burrow healthy? Number one, Zach Taylor. Don't know how to take him. Is he on the hot seat or not? But I can tell you this. He's got a quarterback that can make things happen if he's healthy. Look what Joe Burrow did last year, He had over 27 yards passing last year. 13 touchdowns, played very well in the first 10 games of the season. And when you look at the grade report of this young man out of LSU, a lot of people saying, was he really a first-round overall pick? But I can tell you, he checked off all the boxes. A+, poise. Cool in the pocket, A+. Swagger, A+. Leadership, A+. Accuracy, A+. And got the respect of the team, A+. It was just unfortunate he had that serious knee injury in Game 11 against the Washington football team. And he was sacked 48 times. So that being said, we know what the Bengals have to do from an offensive standpoint. But the Bengals have a quarterback that can make it happen at the high level. Then think about the running back position on the offensive side. Joe Mixon shut it down after 6 games with a foot injury. But when he's healthy, he is one of the most dual-threat running backs in the game out of University of Oklahoma. The receiving position. This is where the Bengals are going to take a step up. T. Higgins is a player last year. Kind of showed you he can be elite. Tyler Boyd, solid. 78 receptions, 841 yards, 4 touchdowns. Mr. Higgins, let me go back to his stats. 67 receptions, over 908 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So those 2 young men right there showed you that they can play at a high level at this pace. But what's going to make Cincinnati special? And I said he was the best receiver in the draft. And I said that he might be the best overall player in the draft. It was either between him and Mr. Sewell, who got drafted by the Lions. This young man, Jamar Chase, is going to be that guy. I know the Bengal Nation loves A.J. Green, but y'all might need to start getting amnesia and forgetting about him because this young man out of the state of Louisiana is going to come on the scene. Then play in 2020. That's all right. But all I know, he had 1,780 yards and 20 touchdowns. And this is what I loved about Jamar Chase. In 2019, when the Tigers went on their great national championship run, Jamar Chase, every time the light was bigger and the competition was bigger, he did some eating. C.J. Henderson, the Florida game, he did some eating. Alabama against Trayvon Diggs, he did some eating. In the national championship game, he did some eating against A.J. Terrell. He's going to be a player. And you know what? He's a warrior. Warriors come out to play. Now, this is the key to the Cincinnati Bengals. Them ascending and being a real good team in a very tough division. The AFC North is serious. Cleveland, Baker Mayfield. Baltimore, Lamar Jackson. Pittsburgh, Ben Roethlisberger. All 3 of those teams made the playoffs. Your offensive line got to be better, man. Jonah Williams, you got to be better, man. Riley Reef that you brought over from the Vikings, he got to be that guy that stabilized the line. And Jason Carman, we know you're a player out of Clemson. You got to come in there and start as a rookie. But the one thing I liked about the Bengals, what they did with their offensive line, they brought back Frank Pollock, a guy that was with them 2 years ago. And he was with the Jets. He came back. And from all indications, what I'm hearing in OTAs, the Bengals offensive line is becoming more technique sound. They become more serious. They're becoming more better because of cohesion and the unity that head coach Mr. Pollock is bringing. And he's really holding them to the attention to detail. Because that's what the Cincinnati Bengals, that's all they have to do. Their offensive line got to play better, man. You can't have your quarterback getting hit 191 times and sacked 48 times. Burrow's not going to survive. But if you do that, the numbers are going to go skyrocket. Now let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. I think they're pretty stable on the defensive side of the ball. I think they can be pretty good. Tyler Shelvin, who they got out of LSU, is going to be a pretty good player. I like him. Sam Hubbard, I think, took a step back last year at the defensive end spot, but I think he's going to ascend a little bit this year. Trey Hickerson, who had 13 sacks with the Saints last year, I think he's going to be a player. He's a guy that's hungry. And he's coming to a situation that's very good. But the guy who I thought was a first-round talent, out of the eyes of Texas, I call him Joseph O, out of Lodz, Nigeria. You know he come from Stout. You know he come from good culture. His family came over here when he was about 8 years old on a visa. Came to the States, moved from Nigeria to Houston, Texas. And he did his thing at the University of Texas. All you got to ask is Michael Huff about Joseph O. He said, pound for pound, he was the best football player that ever played at the University of Texas. The kid had over 18 sacks in his career at Texas, and he plays the game hard. Then looking at the secondary, I think they made an improvement there. They signed a real good player that's about that life. He's a warrior, Ricardo Allen. Y'all got a good football player. I saw him play here in Atlanta for several years, and he is a player. Eli Apple that you signed in free agency. Don't really get in tune into his career, but he's a good football player. Played pretty good with the Giants, the team that drafted him, but he had some good years with the Saints. Trey Wimes, who had some good years with the Vikings. He's a pretty good football player. And you got, I think, the best safety in the game. I know a lot of people talk about Jamal Adams out there in Seattle, but Jesse Bates is ascending to that elite status as the best safety in the game. Look at what he's doing. He's off the charts, over 100 tackles, 4 INTs. I like that young man. He is the best unheard safety that's playing at a pro level. And when it's all said and done, we might be talking about Hall of Fame. This Cincinnati Bengals team, I'm going to say one key to their football team this year. If their offensive line plays well and they're able to cut down the sack total in half and give Joe Burrow time with the weapons he got, that receiving core is going to be young and good. And Jamar Chase, I expect him is going to be an impact rookie that's coming into this league. Then you think about it. Look what him and Burrow did at LSU. And think about Jamar Chase. He's going to come in the league. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. A lot of teams are going to try to cover him man to man. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to be Christmas tree, H.I. Puffin stuff. He's going to light them up. Then T. Higgins is going to start ascending a little more. Tyler Boyd is going to start ascending a lot more. Boomer Sooner, Joe Mixon is going to be assuming a lot more. I love that Bengals offense, man. If their offensive line is intact, this offense can put up some points. I'm not saying the Bengals are a playoff team, but they might save Zach Taylor, the head coach's job. And you might, when you go into Cincinnati, you're going to be very aware of that offense. Defensively, they brought some good pieces in. I like the draft pick of Tyler Shelvin. DJ Redder is a player, a very good player. He's coming back healthy this year. Boy. It's going to be very nice in Bengals land. And when you think about the Cincinnati Bengals, think about Joe Burrow. I think he has the potential to be in the best QB under center that can win at a high level. I know the Bengals had Kenny Anderson that got you to the Super Bowl. You had Boomer Esiason that got you to the Super Bowl. Carson Palmer gave you some great years with Chad Johnson. But I'm going to tell you something special about this young man, Joe Burrow. He left Ohio State, came to the SEC, which was the toughest competition, had the greatest season of any quarterback in college football, won the Heisman Trophy. And I was watching to see how he would play when he got into the league. Under the pandemic situation, over 2,700 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions in 10 games. And I'm going to go back to his grade report again, because this is what I like about him the most. Cool, A+. Poise, A+. Swagger, A+. Accuracy, A+. Leadership, A+. The Bengals got them a player. Your offensive line just have to play better. You got playmakers, Joe Mixon, Boomer Sooner. And defensively, you got one of the best playmakers in the game at the safety position, Jesse Bates. And you got experience, Ricardo Allen, Trey Williams, Eli Apple. Them pretty good football players, man. They good football players. And the linebacker position is pretty good, too. Jeremiah Pratt is going to be a player this year. He's still young, along with Mr. Logan Wilson. So the Bengal Nation is very simple. I'm going to go back with my final words. Like one of the greatest bands I grew up listening to when I was in high school all the way through college. They go by the name of the Isley Brothers. And they had a song that went, I'm climbing up the ladder. If the Bengals offensive line protects Joe Burrow and Joe Burrow comes back healthy, the Bengals are going to be doing this. I'm climbing up in the AFC North. I'm climbing up in the AFC North. If you like the video today, please comment and share it. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to be a special football team if you protect your quarterback, Joe Burrow. If you like the video today, please comment and share it. And I'd like to thank my man, my producer, Mr. Logan Landers, for doing an outstanding job this morning. So enjoy the rest of the week. I'm Vincent Turner of 100 Yards of Football, climbing up the ladder. The Cincinnati Bengals, baby.